Hello, I'm Ivan. You're watching my musical success journey. And tonight I wanted to kind of give you an overview of what you need to do a live stream, to live stream a band or just live stream yourself. Um, I'll take you through some of the equipment, show you how I set it up and use it, and then kind of show you the room where I do the live stream and how I set up the cameras and whatnot. But hopefully this is interesting for you, and I'm going to try and do this all in one shot so I don't have to do too much editing because I hate editing. Anyways, so I have my cell phone camera, and I'm going to switch it over to that. So I'm here on my cell phone camera, and now I can kind of take you around the room and show you the different um, things that I use to do the live stream. So I'm going to switch the camera. There we go. So now you can see that this is my desktop. This is a all-in-one PC right here. And I'm using a program called OBS Studio. And I've got different scenes set up over here. I'm moving my other camera out of the way. So if you see that, there's different scenes set up there. 1, 2, 3, and then Ivan's camera, and then Kim's camera, which is this camera right here. It's her old cell phone. And then I have a computer cam at the very bottom set up, and that is this one right here, which I do not have running right now. But anyways, I set up all my streams in OBS Studio, and then if you don't know how to use OBS Studio, there's a bunch of videos online that show you how to do that. But then you have sources that you're going to include in OBS Studio. And each scene has its own source. It's like, where do you want this, Simon? All right, so my mom, that was my mom. She came down. She brought us dinner. She brought us some pizza. So I'm going to continue. But I think the last thing I told you about was the scenes and the different sources you could put in the scenes. But I'm going to continue to kind of show you around. All right, so I'm going to switch back to my this camera. This is my cell phone. All right, so I'm back on the cell phone, and this is my computer, and this is OBS Studio, and I've got all my different scenes over here on this side, as you can see. And then I'm gonna put you back on my wife's camera for a sec. Okay, well, I just noticed something, that my camera lens on this camera is got some smudges on it, and it's making the picture foggy. So I'm gonna fix that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so man, the I use these lens wipes. I got them off of Amazon. They're really cheap. I think for 200 lens wipes, it's like uh, $7, $8, something like that. So basically, I just take the lens wipe and I open it up. You know, and I take the camera and I wipe where the cameras are. So I want to, after I do this, I want to check to see if it's foggy still. It looks like it might be better. Let's see. Go back to Ivan's cam. Yeah, it is a little better. All right, so this is how I got my wife's camera set up. It's on like a little tripod right here. But for live streaming purposes, I have all these different scenes. I've got camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and my camera, which is I'm holding in my hand filming. And then I can set up. Here, let me show you this. I set up OBS Studio after I get my scenes, right? Which are right here. These are my scenes. All right. I go up to here at the top of OBS Studio and it goes to Tools. And I go to Advanced Scene Switcher. You can see that. And that's a plugin for OBS Studio. And this is the window that pops up. And I can go here where it says Sequence right here. And then I can choose the camera. So it says when scene 1 is active, switch to scene 2 after 5 seconds. And then it uses a fade over here to fade out to the next scene. And then it can just continues on and it cycles through all my different cameras right here. Okay. And these are all my different scenes, I should say. It cycles through these here. Okay. And then, you know, if I go to here, you can actually start it so that it starts doing it, but I'm not going to do that right now. But anyways, that's how I get the cameras to cycle through. I use Advanced Scene Switcher in OBS Studio. I'm going to switch back to Kim's phone while I talk. All right. So that's the way I automate the cameras to switch scenes through OBS Studio using Scene Switcher. How I get the sound is I have, let me show you this. For sound, I use this board right here. Okay, and I think I've got 11 inputs that I could use for mic inputs, whatever. So I run the mics in through the board, and then it has a USB cable. I don't know if you can see it back here, but there's a USB cable that hooks into the back of my PC. And if you look right down here, it says Mackie board input 8, right? That's just the way I worded it. But that is one of the audio sources. Now, currently right now, I'm using an audio input capture device, which is this right here. It's just a wireless microphone, which it sounds really good, which is why I'm using it. But anyways, during the live stream, I hook all my mic cables and everything into this board, goes via USB out to the computer, and then I can choose it as a sound input and audio source, the Mackie board, and then anything that goes through this board goes through OBS Studio. Okay. And usually what I do is there's a headphone output right here. And I put headphones in there to kind of monitor the mix while I'm doing the live stream. And then I have all these cameras, right? So these are the OBSBot cameras that I have, and I have them on stands. And they're all active right now. Okay. So I think this one, I'm not really sure which one it is, but let me see. I think that might be 2. No, it's not 2. It's 3. So all these cameras on stands over here. This is camera 3. I put out into the workspace, which is over here. This is where I set up the band. The drum set usually goes on top of this carpet here. And then I can put any background I want there. I've just got like ties, so it ties up to the top there. And I've got some other black sheets that I put on this side and some on this side. Really cool lighting. I've got these lights here. I think you can see they're about ready to come on, but let me go ahead and turn them on. Hopefully it doesn't blind you. There we go. All right, so they're on, and I can adjust it, right here, down. I have them down because uh, I like to darken everything, and I turn these black lights on, which I have switches. There's one black light right there. And then there's the other switch. There's the other black light. So I've got this tapestry that glows in the dark with the black lights. So let me kill the lights. And then you can kind of see how it glows. It looks really cool. But you want to be able to see the people playing the music, which is why I have those cameras pointed down so that you can see me here, but still see the background, which is glowing, which is really cool. But that's kind of the lights. And then I also have these. If I want a little more light, a little softer than those, I can use these soft boxes. And I've got 2 of them. Actually, I've got 4. I've got another box right here with 2 more in it to light up the area. And they do a pretty good job. They're really bright though. And then what else? Oh, I'll show you how I set up my cameras real quick. I'm going to go back to Kim's camera. All right, so kind of showed you the room and the board that I use. So the next thing that I do is I like to set the scenes, the camera angles, I guess you'd say. And how I do that is I just like I'll go ahead and switch it to let me turn it this way a little bit and get me centered a little more, and I guess like if I go to that one camera was camera 3, which is this one, it's recording, so I'm going to go over there and you'll see me. Okay, so this is camera 3, and I'm going to go ahead and set it up. I'll just walk it over there and I'll kind of show you how it's hooked up once I get it set. Ugh. Hopefully I don't break the connection. So I can adjust the camera anywhere I want, like that, to get everybody in the shot. So there's this camera angle, and I'll kind of show you how it's set up now. I gotta switch over to my other camera. All right, so this camera sits here just like this. Okay, it's on a tripod. All right, and then it's hooked up via USB. And the original cable that come with it only goes that far, but then I have an extender, and the extender goes this way, and I have these USB hubs that I plug them all into. Okay, and these hubs are plugged into the back of the computer, and I have one on each side, and it has like power. All the reds are power. Okay, all the blues are USB. So the reds are just power. Okay, and then also too, I wanted to also tell you, I've got this monitor right here, which helps me to monitor everything. This is the computer, and I have a big monitor above. And then I have another monitor right here, which I have hooked up. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a monitor right here. And I can adjust it any way I want, but let me turn it on so you can kind of see what happens. Like you'll see the screens flicker, and then this monitor will come on. And there we go. Now I have a third screen. And I can kind of move this down so we can see it a little better. There you go. So it's facing, but when we're live streaming, I usually put the live chat right here so that when we're standing here and playing our music, that we could still see the chat. So if people make a comment, we could see it on this screen right here, which I think is pretty cool. And then I just put it up and out of the way too. But how I get 3 monitors though, there's this little box right here. It's made by StarTech, and this little box allows me 2 other monitors to be hooked up through USB into my computer. So then I have this one hooked up by, it's a HDMI, but that is a USB box. You hook your HDMI cables into it, one for this monitor I have, and then I have one going into this monitor right here. All right. Well, I also have these track lights. And these track lights are pretty cool because these lights aren't just, standard regular bulbs. I can make them, they have RGB coloring, red, green, blue, yellow, all that good stuff. And I can make them flash and do things too. So it's really cool to have all that lighting. So we got this one set up. And now let me go to camera, I think 2. Let's try 2. We'll go with 1. So this is camera 1 right here, this one. And it's on a stand. And I'll just move it out. Put it where I think I want it. Which I'm going to keep it close by here. So it's right here. And then I'll come on the back side and adjust the angle of it. If it's crooked or whatever, I'll try and get it straight. It is a little crooked though. I can tell that right now. That's okay. This is just demonstrating. Let me go back to my camera. So, yeah. And it's hooked up by USB into the same hub, what you see here. That's the hub. And then I have another camera which I'll set up, and that would be camera 2. And you can see the cord that's hooked up to it. I'll stick it on this side. So, got all these cameras, right? 1, 2, 3. Plus I have this camera right here that I'm speaking to you on. And I have my wife's camera, and I set those up too. So that gives me 5 really nice picture cameras to do the live stream. All right. So you've seen how I hook up my cameras. You've seen how I route it through my board, the sound. You've seen my computer, my monitors, the lighting. And there's a lot of trial and error that goes into doing a live stream. As far as getting the sound, you really got to dial it in. And me doing it by myself, it's really difficult to separate my brain, from doing sound, doing video, and doing the music. So I recently posted a video of me wanting to live stream a band, and I think that I will be able to dial in the sound and the video a little bit more. It'll be a little more smooth and a little more. I just think it'll be better overall because I can focus on purely on that. I'm not focusing on the music, but video and streaming. And I think that it should go pretty well. I'm looking forward to it. So, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my studio and the things that I use to do my live stream. Uh, I didn't get into any of the music equipment because, I mean, it varies from band to band, but the basics of what you need to do a live stream, I pretty much showed you. So, with that, I want to thank you for watching the video. Hopefully, it gave you some insight on how to do live streaming. Uh, there's a lot to it, but take it step by step. Get the OBS software, learn how to use it, learn how to use the plugins that go with it, and all that information is on the internet. You can find a video on OBS Studio. All you got to do is type it in the search and it'll pop up, and it'll teach you how to use it, tell you how to use different cameras with it. Took me a while to figure out all the different cameras that I could use with it, and ones that I liked, ones I didn't like. But you can figure it out. So your soundboard, I would say you want a soundboard that your computer can recognize. A USB soundboard. You just plug it in and it recognizes your soundboard. Otherwise, you could use a digital audio workstation, a DAW, along with a audio interface. Now, I've got an audio interface that I've shown in videos before. I've got 16 channels, and I can go all 16 channels into my DAW and edit the DAW channels like I would do a mixing board, but in the software. But the only problem that I found with that is that with using the DAW, the DAW, it tends to eat up resources, and sometimes the video becomes a little choppy. Sometimes the sound is scratchy, and it's not as reliable as a mixing board. So I recommend for live sound using a mixing board. You can dial in the DAW to get a decent sound, but you really have to limit what you use. Like, I think if you want to do a one camera shot live stream of your band using a DAW to get like a better sound from the mix, I would recommend that. But other than that, I would use the mixing board if you want to use multiple camera angles, because it's just less drag on your resources on your computer. You'll get a much better sound, much better picture. So keep that in mind whenever you go to do a live stream. Now, I didn't show you how to set up a live stream in YouTube or anything like that. That's what I use. I use YouTube. But maybe I can do that in another video if you're interested. So with that said, that's enough for me. It's 11 o'clock and I got to go to work I got to get up at 5. So I need to get this video finished and uploaded so that I can go to bed. All right. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.